Issue 247. We start out with Amy at the door to Sonic's cell at a Metropolis high-security prison maximum security cell, and she claims that she believes that Sonic's innocent. Yeah, let's see how long that lasts. Surprisingly, when Sonic says to just ask Kintabor if he's been framed, it turns out that Kintabor lost his memory about that, probably because of the guy who broke into the control center messing with his memories. But somehow there's no evidence that he's been tampered with. Fortunately, letting Sonic out is just what Amy's gonna do, because she uses a device to get rid of the force field around Sonic in his solitary cell. Turns out that Vector was the one who made that device, not Porker, so that's refreshing. We see them escape from the cell with Sonic's super speed, and they get into Knuckles' flying machine with Tails, so at least Knuckles and Tails still believe in Sonic, for now. I'm still kind of worried that this Sonic is also a fake, because if a huge amount of different fake Sonics were released at once, which would have much more believably explained how Sonic could have been framed for, like, breaking and entering, kidnapping, all those different things all at once, in such a short amount of time. Though Sonic does have super speed. But yeah, like, if there are a huge amount of different fake Sonics released at once instead of just one, then who knows which one is the real one. All of them could be programmed to say they were framed. Sonic mentions that this is like one of the spaceship comics that Porker reads, giving him a little more character. Apparently it's only just lately that Porker's been obsessed with Echidna vehicles. Sonic complains impatiently about how long it took his friends to free him from jail. Then he points out that he's surprised even Knuckles agreed to help him, and Knuckles smirks while saying that while Sonic's a jerk, he's not a traitor. Sonic trails off saying, "Oh, Knuckles." And this eventually got me worried that this Sonic really is a fake. Yep, he attacks them. And he's even programmed to call Tails Pixel Brain and imply he's useless just like the real Sonic after he knocks everyone out. Everyone should be really suspicious right now. Because if this was the real Sonic who's in trouble, and not a fake Sonic who doesn't care about anything, then Sonic wouldn't hurt them because he'd be focused on clearing his name. Or even if he was evil, he would still keep them around to serve him as allies. The fact that he did this stupidly proves he's a robot Sonic who's dumb in the AI department, only existing to frame Sonic with no regards for himself. Also, I guess the fake Sonic was programmed with Sonic's knowledge to know about the fact that Porker reads those comics in the first place. And after the heroes land in a daze, the fake Sonic says all robotically, "Mission complete, return to base," and either turns into mist or dumps into a hole with steam in it, as I wonder if he was way too far away from the heroes while saying that for them to hear him. There has to be the explanation, because if they heard him say that, they would know he was a fake right away. Later, we see the real Sonic in an underground lava cavern, and someone with the creepy text in the text box says that he's afraid the drugs he gave him to break him out of prison were quite strong. How did the guy who got him here sneak into his prison and then leave with him completely undetected? Wouldn't prisons have surveillance cameras and guards 24/7? And wouldn't they notice damage to the walls from the prison break? The person who broke him out of here has the same abilities as Sonic. So the only way he could break him out of prison is from breaking the walls and stuff. Anyways, they ran all the tests on him to make sure Sonic was the person they captured, only for the fake Sonic to sneak into prison in his place, somehow. And it reveals that Sonic's friends will never trust him again, and no one will come for him. The Sonic-shaped goop-like thing that reminds me of Metal Sonic from Heroes says that above Sonic is half a mile of liquid granite, and on either side of him there's molten lava. The story ends with Sonic being told that this will be his tomb. Again, maybe he'd be better off at this point. And he's faced off with a giant Metal Sonic. In the next story, we see the aftermath of Rouge throwing the explosives in the boring academy. She uses the smoke bomb to get away, and I'm skimming this as fast as possible out of lack of interest. It turns out that both of them are completely unharmed after supposedly they got shot. It turns out that they all got tricked by a hologram of Rouge. Then we see Rouge being told that the Dracon Empire is filled with great artifacts for her, much worthier than the ones she wiped clean. And Rouge complains that she could have bought her own empire with the mural's black market value. Oh, so her motive was to steal a mural all along? They should have explained that at the start so I care in the slightest. I guess her motive is money. Her boss says that the Dracon have a campaign to create fear and distress on Mobius before the invasion. I guess to make the Mobians give up easier, but if they have such advanced technology, they shouldn't feel like they need to do that. Rouge then explains that she actually didn't use genuine bombs because explosions eat into her profit margin. And she bargains for some more money, Getsley, saying that the Keepers would love to know who she was working for, before agreeing to find the next stone on her list. Can't we get any sort of backstory on her explaining why she's evil? I mean, I love the idea of seeing an evil Rouge finally, because we never saw that in Archie. Again, I prefer a more focused approach on a character than Flynn not knowing whether she's a hero or not caring if she'll destroy Blaze's world because she got a gem. But this Rouge is so bland and unentertaining so far. A far cry from her SE2 wittiness. In fact, even Penders wrote her better. Remember when she tried to steal the Master Emerald with Scourge? That's a much more focused approach for her character than what Flynn did. Where, oh, she's a hero, but no, she's evil. In the next story, we see the Imperial Palace in the Coal Creek Zone, where we hear that the Weasels won't stand for the way that they've treated them. And the bad guy says that if the Weasels don't like it, they can be sent to the mines. Then some of the people complain about what the General's done and about being betrayed, and then I see Amy and Techno back at home base. Wait, so how did Techno get home with short fuse? I guess this takes place before or after that story arc. Amy explains that since Coal Creek was taken over by a military regime, Ocean Falls Zone has every reason to be suspicious of a peace truce from them. And Amy says that since Sonic's not here right now, it's up to her. Oh, at the very bottom of the page, we learn that this story takes place before the events in issue 238. So that's an issue before the smear campaign even started. It's an excellent idea for the story to start having stories taking place before all of that nonsense. So we still get to see Sonic in the position he's supposed to be in. Though we're not seeing him in this story. But the point is, that text box should have been at the top of the panel to avoid any confusion for even a second. Amy and Techno go to Coal Creek, where the people have been taught to hate them by their evil leaders, and they're told that the Admiral wants to see them. Amy foreshadows that this feels wrong, and then it turns out Fang is the Admiral. He had faked his death to Tails and got captured in Coal Creek, and with his wealth from the diamond mining, he eventually managed to bribe the guards to let him see the General and bribed him into helping him overthrow the Work Council and free his people. This is definitely a great way to see Fang again, much less exhausting than, oh, he's committing crime with the drinking device again. No, this is a very refreshing new role to see Fang in. While Amy believes him about wanting to free his people, Techno isn't so sure, which is code speak in the Fleetway comic for she's right about the future plot point. Well, she didn't say I'm not so sure this time, but still. Techno then foolishly goes somewhere alone and finds a file about a plan for invading Ocean Falls, causing Fang to threaten to kill her. This is why you never run off alone. In the action series, anyway. Ed Reynolds wrote the first story, which was about the predictable twist that Sonic in jail was replaced with a fake Sonic to ruin Sonic's friends' trust in him. I predicted it because things seemed too light-hearted, and Fleetway stories are forced to be short because they share comic space with two other stories, so the plot's gotta have a very fast pace. Really, they seem to be tying up all the loose ends with the smear campaign. There's no way Sonic can recover from this. Everyone's turned against him for good reason because of the fake infiltrator concept that was wasted on being an infiltrator porker earlier on. And now it's finally put to good use. And Grimer disappeared for a while, so no one suspects that he'd make more Metalics. And Sonic had been drugged by Metal Sonic, making him wake up underground and threatened with death with no one left at his side. Sometimes it's hard to hate him for what a jerk he was to his friends when he ends up suffering a fate like this. Maybe this happening to him kind of makes him redeemed for all of that, makes it easy to forgive him for all of that, because he definitely gets what he deserves, and then some. Robert Fraser wrote the second story, which was a boring one where Rouge causes pointless destruction to scare the people of Mobius for the Recon Empire for the evils. And she's being paid. That still doesn't explain it. Does she expect to get a position of power when the Empire invades? Is that why she's doing everything she's doing? And the final story was by Mike Corker, and was about Fang freeing his people, the Weasels, from the diamond mines in the Coal Creek dictatorship, and planning an invasion of another country for the evils, I guess. A refreshing and interesting take on his character.